Christmas. Do you guys remember what happened on this day in 1776 in America? We've all seen the beautiful painting from Emanuel Lutz. General George Washington is on the bow of the Durham boat, pointing across the Delaware River, saying, "We've got to get over there. We've got to get to Trenton." Why was the crossing of the Delaware important? Why the heck did General Washington want to take several thousand men and a bunch of cannons out onto a stormy night on a frozen, ice-laden river and go marching off into the countryside? A couple years ago, I rented a house for a weekend during a training in that part of the country, and I got to stay within about 100 yards of where that crossing took place. Pretty moving. But back to the story. Why would he do it? Why was it important? At the time, we were losing. We were getting our butt kicked. The Continentals, the soldiers, they were saying, "You know what? We kind of don't want to be here. We're marching all over. We're getting our ass handed to us, and we got to win." George said, "We got to win something." So he said, "We're going to go. We're going to march." Nobody knew about this. It was a secret. But him and his generals, they planned this surprise attack. They're going to take freaking 2,500-ish men across in these boats and go attack the garrison that was filled with Hessian soldiers, the baddest of the bad. These dudes are in America, paid mercenaries to be badasses. And these guys knew how to fight. So they're going to go attack those dudes in Trenton. Cool story leading up to this. Benjamin Rush, who was one of the signers of the Declaration, in fact, I've visited Mr. Rush's grave a few times, told an account that I believe the day before the crossing, he went to go check on General Washington. And Washington was writing on some scraps of paper. He was writing the password, a secret phrase that was going to be used during the crossing. I don't remember the exact reason why. It's probably a password so that people knew who was who at night. And he had dropped the scrap of paper by Benjamin's feet. So Dr. Rush bent over and picked the scrap of paper up. And you know what the password was? Victory or death. That was the general's plan. We are crossing this frozen river, and we're going to win, or we're going to die. We're going to perish. This young nation is going to perish. The story gets better. He entrusted two young men to help make this thing happen. One of them was Mr. Henry Knox. And Henry Knox is one of my favorite figures in our revolution. Henry Knox was a bookseller that became the man that helped win the siege of Boston. Great book that you can read on Henry Knox called Knox's Noble Train. So Knox is involved with helping set up all the logistics of this crossing. And there's one other man that was a pivotal member of our founding as a soldier, and his name is often not brought up. His name is John Glover. John and his Marbleheaders. These guys were hardened, badass fishermen. They could be told, or rather viewed and seen much separately than the rest of the Continentals because they were wearing their fishing garb. They had pants that were like covered in tar, and they had on special fisherman jackets. Well, these dudes went out and stole boats up and down the river, these Durham boats. They were these heavy, like 40 to 60 foot long wooden boats made for moving goods, iron ore and things like grain up and down the river. And they got these dudes across. Without Glover and without the work that him and the Marbleheaders did, it wouldn't have happened. And that win had to happen. It had to happen when it happened to keep the morale up, to give a win for our side, for the fight to continue, for what they called the great cause, this great cause of liberty. What those guys did that night, this night in 1776, was a pivotal moment, not just for the colonies. It was a pivotal moment not just for the young fledgling nation, but for the world. If not for what those men did, the world would not be what it is today. The spark of freedom ignited a firestorm that continues to this day. There is not a person on this planet that doesn't crave liberty, and what those folks did in those days carries on to this day. Be well, don't be dickheads. I hope this Christmas brought you some love, some peace, some joy. Remember where we came from. It matters. Thank you, John Glover. Thank you, Henry Knox. Thank you, Washington. And thank you to the thousands and thousands and thousands of other souls that gave it all, that laid it on the line. Victory or death. Be well.